He was just riding his bike on the sidewalk in front of his daddy's house. Sun out, barefoot, Logan. Then, boom, he got shot in the head. Right there, right in front of his two sisters. The whole street went silent, except for the screaming. You're watching an unbelievable true story, where we only tell real stories. Not to scare you, but to prepare you. This happened in Wilson, North Carolina. Summer of 2020. Cannon Hinnant, just 5 years old, a baby man, playing outside like every kid does. The guy who shot him? Next door neighbor. Someone Cannon knew. Someone his family trusted. The man walked right up. No warning. No words. Pulled the trigger. Why? Still makes no sense. Some say it was rage. Some say he just snapped. But let me tell you something scary. 80% of attacks on kids come from people they already know. And every 40 seconds, a child is taken, hurt, or worse. And you think it'll never happen to us. But Cannon's daddy thought that too, until he had to hold his son's body, before the ambulance even showed up. That's why we linked a family safety course in the description and first pin comment. It teaches kids and parents how to spot danger, even when it comes with a friendly face. How to escape, speak up, and protect each other. It's quick, it's clear, and it could save your child's life. Now stay with me, because we're about to break down who did it, how he got so close, and the one heartbreaking moment that changed everything. Let's get into the full story. Cannon Blake Hinnant, 5 years old. He had blonde hair and eyes full of sunlight. He loved hot dogs, playing ball, riding his bike. Didn't matter if it was rain or shine. If the bike was out, he was happy. He said, please, and thank you, and called his grandma mama. He was the kind of kid who hugged people for no reason. The kind that ran everywhere instead of walking. He was supposed to start kindergarten the next week. He had his new backpack picked out. Paw Patrol. The town was Wilson, North Carolina. Small place. Southern. Folks wave when they pass. Lots of porches. Lots of yards with toys left outside. The day was August 9th, 2020. It was hot, somewhere around 90 degrees. You could smell fresh-cut grass and hear lawnmowers down the block. That kind of Sunday where nothing big should happen. Cannon's dad, Austin Hinnant, had just come back from the store. He and Cannon were eating bananas on the porch earlier. The girls, Cannon's sisters, were playing with sidewalk chalk. Everybody felt safe. That's when Cannon hopped on his bike, pedaled out front, did a little spin. That was the last normal moment they had. The man who lived next door, his name was Darius Sessoms, 25 years old. He'd been to the house before. He'd even had dinner with Cannon's family. They talked over beers once. Smiled, so nobody saw him as a threat. He was just the neighbor. That's what made it so hard to understand, and so easy for him to get close. No yelling, no argument. He just walked across the yard, pulled out a gun, and shot a 5-year-old child in the head, right in front of his sisters. Austin heard the shot, came running out the front door, found his boy lying there, not moving. He dropped to his knees, screamed Cannon's name, tried to scoop him up, but there was blood everywhere, and Cannon didn't move. His daughters were screaming. One of them had to run inside to call 911. Neighbors were frozen, shocked. Nobody knew what the hell just happened. Austin looked up and saw Darius Sessoms walking back across the street, back into his own house. Calm, like nothing happened. Police came fast. Paramedics too. They tried. Lord, they tried. But Cannon was gone. Pronounced dead that evening at Wilson Medical Center. 5 years old. A week before school. Darius didn't stay long. He ran, got in a car, and took off that night. But the next day, they caught him. He was hiding in a house in Goldsboro, about 30 minutes away. U.S. Marshals and Wilson police tracked him down. No struggle. He gave up easy. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. No motive was ever clearly given. No reason that made any kind of sense. Not drugs. Not money. Not an argument. Just evil. Pure and simple. Now let me pause right here, because there's a stat I need to tell you. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC 2023, every 40 seconds in the U.S., a child is abducted, attacked, or disappears. That's not counting what happens with people they already know. People like neighbors. People like this man. Someone who was trusted. Who smiled at the front door. That's why we linked a family safety course in the description and pinned comment. It's built for parents and kids. It teaches how to sense when something ain't right, what to do when someone gets too close, how to speak up, how to protect yourself and each other. 1 hour could save a life. Back to Cannon. His funeral was held that week, August 13th, 2020, at Shingleton Funeral Home. He had a small blue casket. Pictures of him riding his bike were placed at the front. People came in tears, some strangers, some family. The whole town of Wilson grieved. Even people online, millions of them, shared his photo, asked why the media wasn't talking about him more. Why such an innocent child had to die like that. And Austin, Cannon's daddy, he broke down in court, spoke through tears, said he watched a man murder his son, and had to hold him in his arms until help came. He said he'll never forget the sound, never forget the look on his girls' faces, never forget the blood. Let me stop here, because there's more. Darius Sessoms, he faced trial. He tried to say he didn't know what he was doing, claimed mental illness. But what the court found out, what the family shared, made this story even worse. Cannon's sisters were 7 and 8 years old enough to understand, too young to handle it. They were standing just feet away when it happened. They saw the man raise the gun. They saw their baby brother fall. One sister ran for help. The other froze. She stood there shaking, holding a piece of chalk in her hand. The word love was still written on the driveway, right next to where Cannon fell. They would never forget that moment. Neither would anyone else on that street. The days after the shooting felt unreal. The whole town went quiet. No bikes, no kids playing outside. Even a mailman looked nervous. Cannon's mom and dad were broken. They didn't know how to explain it to the girls. How do you tell a child that someone you smiled at, someone who lived next door, could do something so heartless? There were no answers, just silence and grief. Meanwhile, police worked fast. They searched Sessom's home, checked for signs of drugs, looked at his phone records, interviewed neighbors. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody had a clue. There were no threats, no fights, just 1 second of calm, and then chaos. A neighbor said he always seemed normal, quiet, stayed to himself. Another said he used to wave at Cannon, even gave him a high five once. So why'd he do it? Some thought maybe it was a mental break. Others believed it was cold-blooded murder. Point blank, no reason. Cannon's dad, Austin, wanted justice. Not revenge, just justice. He didn't want this man walking the streets again. He went to every court hearing, brought pictures of Cannon, spoke to the press, even though his voice cracked. He said, "I need people to see my boy's face. I need them to know what was taken." He stayed strong for his daughters. But behind closed doors, he cried every night. The trial began over a year later. It was hard to sit through. Autopsy reports, witness accounts, 911 calls. The jury heard everything. They saw photos of Cannon's little bike, still lying on the sidewalk, still covered in blood. The defense tried to claim insanity, that Darius Sessoms didn't know what he was doing, that he needed treatment, not prison. But the jury didn't buy it, not for a second. He brought the gun out. He aimed. He pulled the trigger, and then walked away. That's not confusion. That's murder. In January 2022, Darius Sessoms pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He would never be free again, never walk past another child, never see the light without bars. But Cannon was still gone, and that's a wound no sentence can heal. The Hinnant family decided not to disappear. They didn't want Cannon to be forgotten. They started speaking out, told their story online, warned other families to stay alert, even in neighborhoods that feel safe, especially with people you think you know. Cannon's name became a symbol, a reminder that danger doesn't always knock. Sometimes it's already standing next to you. They built a small memorial near the sidewalk, a white cross, toys, stuffed animals, flowers. The chalk drawings are still there, faded but visible. Love, ride fast, Cannon forever. People stop and kneel. Some cry, some pray. Strangers drove in from out of town just to leave teddy bears. A man from Florida sent a new bike. It was never opened. Now here's something to think about. According to the FBI, 2022, over 80% of children who are killed under the age of 10 are harmed by someone they already know. a family friend, a neighbor, a babysitter. It's not always strangers. It's often the people we least expect. That's why we added a free family safety course in the description and pin comment. It shows how to teach your kids what's okay and what's not. It shows how to notice red flags, even with familiar faces. How to act fast, speak up, and stay safe. It's made for real life. Because this stuff, it's real. Cannon's sisters are growing up now. They still talk about him. They still keep his toys. Their mom says Cannon shows up in their dreams, riding his bike, smiling, still barefoot. His dad keeps a photo in his truck, talks to it sometimes, tells him he misses him. Every day, they don't want sympathy. They want people to be aware, to pay attention, to listen to that gut feeling when something feels off. Because 1 second of ignoring it can change everything. People started talking, not just in Wilson, but across the whole country. Photos of Cannon went viral. The one with him smiling on the beach. Another where he's holding a toy truck, no front teeth, big grin. People asked, why isn't this all over the news? Some said if the roles were reversed, if the victim looked different, if the shooter looked different, maybe more cameras would show up. Maybe more headlines would appear. It made folks angry, not just about the crime, but about the silence. Because this wasn't just one family's pain. This felt like something bigger. A reminder that evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes it wears a smile. Cannon's name became a symbol. People wrote it on signs, on t-shirts, on sidewalks in chalk across the country. They called it the hashtag #SayHisName movement. But his family didn't care about hashtags. They cared about truth, about protecting other kids, about making sure this didn't happen again. And they wanted people to remember something simple. Cannon was just a kid, just a little boy who loved to ride and laugh and ask for snacks when it wasn't snack time. Wilson, North Carolina changed that summer. Some folks moved away. Others locked their doors for the first time in years. The easy feeling that kids could run free on the block. It was gone. Neighbors used to wave across lawns. Now they watched each other more carefully. The smiles became tighter. The trust didn't come easy anymore. And maybe that's a hard way to live. But maybe it's the new reality. Cannon's school left his desk empty that fall. Just one small chair, with a Paw Patrol backpack sitting on it. The teachers placed his name tag on the front like he was still there. His classmates drew pictures of bikes and angels. Some of them didn't really understand what had happened. They just knew Cannon wouldn't be there for recess. That's when it hits you, how deep it goes. Not just the parents, but friends, teachers, whole communities. They all carry that hole. Cannon's mom, Bonnie Waddell, didn't disappear either. She spoke at public events, held her son's photo in her arms like it was still warm. She said, I don't want pity. I want people to wake up. She warned families not to let their guard down, to stop thinking it won't happen here. Because she thought that too, until it did. She said he wasn't supposed to die that day. He was supposed to ride his bike, come inside, and eat spaghetti with his sisters. People asked, what could have stopped this? The truth is, maybe nothing, or maybe everything. What if someone had noticed the shooter acting strange? What if the family had been trained to read small signs? What if someone had taught those kids how to scream louder, run faster, freeze smarter? That's why we keep mentioning the family safety course. It's in the description and pinned comment. Because families deserve better than silence. They deserve knowledge. Even if it's hard. Even if it's scary. Because sometimes, that knowledge is the only thing standing between normal and nightmare. When Cannon died, his parents were young, still figuring life out. But nothing could prepare them for burying a child. They said the hardest part wasn't the funeral. It was walking past his room every night. Seeing his shoes still by the door, hearing their daughters whisper his name when they thought nobody was listening. Bonnie started writing letters to him. She said it helped. Letters that start with, hi baby boy, and end with, love you forever, mama. In court, during the sentencing, Darius Sessoms never said sorry. He kept his head down, didn't look at the family, didn't explain, didn't cry. That silence hurt almost as much as the crime. But Cannon's family didn't need an apology. They needed peace, and they found it in each other, in their faith, in the thousands of strangers who reached out, in every child who now gets a little extra warning before walking out the door. There's a quote Cannon's dad once said that stuck. I can't change what happened, but I can make sure it means something. That's what this story is about. Not just grief, but action. It's about remembering that kids don't always die in faraway places. Sometimes it happens on your street, to your neighbor, on a normal Sunday. So what now? Now, Cannon's story is being told. Loudly, everywhere, because silence never helped anyone. And for the family still trying to smile, still showing up, still honoring their boy, they just want you to know it can happen to anyone. But if we're ready, if we really prepare, it doesn't have to happen again. The morning after the funeral, Cannon's grandma, Mama, woke up before the sun. She walked outside in her robe, just stood there, staring at the sidewalk. His bike was gone, but the chalk lines were still there. One drawing had wings. Another said, "Best brother ever." She didn't say much that day, just picked up the hose and washed the driveway slow. Didn't want to, but she had to. Sometimes grief isn't loud. It just sits there, quiet and heavy, like wet clothes on your skin. Wilson police released the final report a few weeks later. It confirmed what the family already knew. There was no fight, no shouting match, no drugs or robbery. It was just one step, one gun, one moment, and a little boy's life was gone. No explanation, no warning signs that jumped off the page, no logic. That's what scared people the most. Not just that it happened, but that it didn't make sense. Cannon's teacher came forward. She said he was excited about starting school, talked about it every day, kept asking if he could bring 2 snacks instead of 1, said he wanted to make friends fast. She cried during the interview, said, "I already had his name on the welcome board." She left it up anyway, didn't have the heart to take it down. Over time, the national conversation shifted again. New headlines came, new tragedies. The world kept moving. But the Hinnant family stayed in the same moment. The same day, August 9th, 2020. Because when something like that happens, time doesn't move for you. It stops, right there on your front lawn. Cannon's sisters went back to school months later. At first, kids whispered around them. They stared. Some even said the wrong things. But most just offered crayons, sat closer at lunch, laughed with them on hard days. The school counselor met with them weekly, helped them draw pictures of Cannon, helped them speak when it felt easier to stay quiet. Healing didn't come all at once. It came in pieces, in drawings, in quiet talks, in bedtime stories where Cannon still got to ride his bike. Back at home, Austin and Bonnie didn't throw out Cannon's clothes. Couldn't do it. His shirts still hung in the closet. His shoes were still by the door. The last popsicle he asked for was still in the freezer. Nobody touched it. They turned his room into a place of peace, hung his art on the wall, put a small candle next to his favorite stuffed dog. That room became the heart of the house, not because he was in it, but because he always would be. In interviews, Austin talked about forgiveness, said he was trying to breathe, trying not to drown in it. He didn't want to hold hate forever. Said, "It poisons you, man, eats you from the inside." But he also said, "I'm never going to forget, ever. I see that moment every time I blink." In 2023, the Hinnants started a foundation in Cannon's name, the Cannon's Voice Foundation. It focuses on child safety education, mental health support for grieving families, awareness campaigns about violence from familiar faces. They travel to schools, speak at churches, tell the truth nobody wants to say out loud, because sometimes it takes the most painful voice to wake people up. One thing they teach is how to prepare your child, without making them scared, without making them panic. Simple steps, safe words, how to notice when someone steps too close, what to do when your body says something's not right. And that's exactly what our linked family safety course covers too. It's down in the description and pinned comment. Real tools made by experts, not made to scare, made to protect. A year after Cannon passed, on his birthday, his family and neighbors held a balloon release. Everyone wore blue. Kids wrote messages on the balloons. "Miss you, Cannon. Ride high, buddy. Save me a spot up there." As they let go, a silence came over the street. Not the kind from sadness, but the kind that holds love tight. That night, Cannon's mom said she felt him. Said the wind moved different. Said the stars looked warmer. There are no perfect endings in stories like this. Only lessons. Only scars, Only memories wrapped in love and pain at the same time. But here's what we know. Cannon Hinnant was here. He lived. He laughed. He rode his bike with no shoes and sticky hands. He mattered, and he still does. Before we go, the next story? It starts with a 13-year-old girl walking to meet a friend, but she never made it home. When they finally checked the neighbor's garage, they found something no one could explain. You're watching an unbelievable true story. Stick around, because truth always finds the light.